Alrighty, just a quick run through of what I've done so far. So this is the cockpit. I've made it into a bit of a captain's bridge type setup. It's quite large, but obviously this room never moves, it's fixed in place, so I went to town on this one a little bit. Tried to make a bit of a feature of it. It's nowhere near finished. So I've done numbering. It's room number 1. And then there's our corridors, 1, 2, 4, and 3. For the coordinates, I found a cool print on Thingiverse. It has a little rotary dial there which spins. I've got both hands on the camera so I won't spin it, but it spins A through to D, and then the coordinates card sits neatly in the top there. Got a little captain's chair. I'm going to do more of these, but this is like just a print that I found, a sci-fi one for a bit of a console. I'm going to do more of them around the perimeter. So you've got your 3 doorways from the cockpit. So the stairs come back down the other way. That solar array will eventually be mounted somewhere. I'm going to make like an external greebles for the top of the ship to fill in the space between rooms. So this third exit, to save space to try and fit everything onto the board that I've been mapping out, I've made that just a small little balcony, then a ladder down into this fixed room here, which at the moment is set up as the lab. Not finished obviously, I've still got a lot to print. These little face huggers in the lab tubes there, they're just LED tea lights. So what I'm going to do is, obviously the rooms always change. I'm going to print out some little hexagonal frames that these sit into with a marker so that you can spin to indicate item numbers and so forth. And the outer perimeter of each room will be fixed in place, and then this middle bit, which is a 4-panel section, that's what will drop in and out. So I'll have all of them made up as each different room themed out, and I'll be dropping them in as we go through the ship, exploring as appropriate. So still heaps to do, but there's the cockpit, there's the lab. These newspaper cuttings are the footprints of each room. I'm still going on that obviously. I'm starting to work out a plan that I'm happy with. And then this is going to be the hibernatorium, whatever it's called. Hibernatorium, I think it is. Obviously very rough. I'm going to be drilling holes through the foam. This foam is going to be mounted onto MDF eventually once I'm happy with my layout. I'm going to carve into the underside and dig out some channels so that the wiring can go down, drill through the floor, through the foam, and then it'll run in that recess underneath out to a side where I'm going to make some neat switching. But this I thought was pretty cool. These are 3D prints. So I've themed it that 5 of the pods are active, and then this one here, some aliens have got into that one, and that's where our dead corpse that starts the game is going to be next to. They still need to be touched up. The painting's very rough. I've just been in a bit of a rush to get onto other things, so I haven't taken the time to fully finish these off yet. But I thought that was a pretty cool feature, and some lighting is obviously good for atmosphere. Even down to the little console here. I don't know if you can see that, the green against the blue, but we've got 5 of the pods status okay, and then the red one for the poor old astronaut here who got done by the aliens. So that's it so far. Really excited for this build, and just going to keep pumping it out, and I'll get there in the end. I think eventually it's going to be 1 more panel, so it's going to be the extruded foam is 1.2 by 600, so it's going to end up being 1.2 by about 1.8 long, which is obviously massive, but that's the same size as the World War II build I did previously, and I've got some storage racks that will house that, but I've got a game room as well, so it may just stay set up on my table for a while, so it's no big issue. The other thing was, each room that I'm doing, instead of using, well, I'm going to have to use the status markers to track how many malfunctions and fires, etc. there are, but I've got little 3mm LEDs that I'm buying in bulk, and I'm going to be drilling 3 holes into that footprint that stays on the board for each room, and running a green, a red, and an amber 3mm LED. Hopefully slow flash for the orange, slow flash for the red, and a solid green for the green. And those will be controlled by some micro switches that I found that are quite compact. I'm going to run all the wiring, it'll be a big job, but run that all off to the side in one central spot. And as you discover rooms that are either working or malfunctioning or on fire, you will be able to switch that green for working, red for malfunctioning, and amber for on fire as appropriate, so that it adds a bit of lighting and atmosphere to the game, but also serves a practical purpose to track each room status. But as I said, I'll have to use the tokens as well so that we keep track of how many are in play. Anyway, that's the build so far. I'll stop this and I'll do another one once I've got a few more rooms fitted out. I'm going to do the nest room next. I've got some cool ideas for that. And outside of that, I'm not sure yet. I'll just see what cool 3D prints I can find and keep churning out the rooms.